Kazakhstan is one of the most multinational countries which gathered representatives of more than 130 ethnicities and nations. Each ethnicity has unique traditions, inimitable holidays, interesting stories and amazing recipes. Recipes of kindness and peace, recipes of respect to your own roots and other people's culture, recipes for friendship.
Hello, this is the program Recipe for Friendship. My name is Alevtina Madyarova, and today we're visiting magnificent hospitable house in order to study more closely the Balkarian culture, Balkarian embroidery, Valkyrion cuisine, and of course, meet our hospitable Balkarian friends. In one of our programs, we already plunged into the difficult fate of the Balkar settlers in our region. Today, we will immerse ourselves in the beauty of rituals and costumes of this ethnic group. We will learn the meaning of such concepts as Girancha, Bukharske, and Kuyups. When your mother got married, she got it as a gift? Yes. And how is it called in Balkarian language? Tigilgen Girancha. So Girancha means scarf. Yes, and this is the Tigilgen Girancha. We will learn how to cook delicious dishes that will suit any table. I see that everything that you have is homemade. Yes, we need homemade oil. We will study the Balkarian costume. A woman's cap, what is it called? Okabir. And we'll make a Balkarian girl out of you. What can you say? Is the Balkarian national clothes suit me? And of course, we will get acquainted with beautiful people famous for their sincerity, hospitality, and beautiful traditions. The hostess of this house, Hanipa Gigeva, is welcoming us today. I am kindly allowed to address her in my own way. Hanifa Appa, we will agree on this. Hanifa Appa, we will begin our today's acquaintance with the magnificent Balkar scarves. Balkar scarves are not just clothes, not just art. A headscarf for a Caucasian woman was always a symbol of her honor, and only special circumstances can force a woman to take off the scarf of her head. For the Balkar women, among other things, these luxurious scarves served also as outerwear. They are special in the fact that back then people didn't have coats. They also could make this kind of scarf made of wool, but most importantly, they were very big. People lived in a mountainous area. Women wore warm dresses and only a big scarf on top of it. Yes, only the big scarf, and that's all. There are many varieties of this part of the wardrobe, but such treasures were not available in every house. We were lucky today to bump into such a beautiful thing, preserved for centuries. Is this beautiful white scarf that we have here could be meant for everyday life? Still, it was probably intended for festivities. You know, when you go somewhere to visit or, for example, for a wedding or some solemn event, then you put on a white. Always something white. Although the textile for these shawls were important, such as silk, crêpe de chine, and so on, but women made them with their own hands. I'm wondering, is this all handmade? Exactly, it's all made by hands. Sometimes it took 5 months, 6 months. How long ago the scarf was made? This one is about 150 years old. It is a nation scarf. So crêpe de chine, this is Girancha. The most valuable Girancha is white or the color of baked milk. As a rule, the embroidered white Girancha was sewn by the mother or sister for the young bride. This is pure crêpe de chine. It's so beautiful. This handmade scarf, a woman could make alone within the winter season. Yes, it took her 1 winter to make it. Look at the size of it, it's very impressive. Yes, she embroidered it for 6 or 7 months. Girancha could be smooth, decorated only with beautiful brushes, and could be embroidered. This one is very beautiful. I want to see all of it. Let's look at it. Is this also handmade? This is my mother's gift. When your mother got married, she got it as a gift. Yes. And how is it called in Balkarian language? Tigilgen Grancha. So Grancha means scarf. Yes, and this is the Tigilgen Grancha. Traditionally, the life of Balkarian women was focused on the house. That's why in Balkarian, wife is called uybiche. Among many hill people, the woman was engaged exclusively in work inside the home. Girls were taught needlework from a young age, and almost the whole life of the hill women before marriage was a preparation for family life. And since the scarf for the Balkarian women was almost the main piece of clothing, then the scarves was strictly assigned to different events. There are a lot of beautiful scarves. I don't even know which to take first. After the wedding ceremonies, the white crepe de chine gurancha is replaced by a bright crimson or red scarf. This is also gurancha, and it also has a special role. The shawl the young wife puts on the first day in the new house. Note that when a girl is getting married, she's covered with a white shawl with snow white embroidery. And when she starts her life as the hostess of the new house in the first day, she wears such a bright shawl. This becomes her first outfit as a woman. Textile from which women sewed their outfits were brought by merchants along the Silk Road. There they could find a variety of patterns and textures, from Iranian prints with curved almonds to firebirds and dragons. I have a question. Do all Balkarian women could afford Chinese silk? Of course they could. Why not? So they were rich. Yes, they had a very rich household because they had their own big farms. They sometimes did not even know how many rams, horses, or cows they had. They had help whom they ordered how and what to do, but themselves they lived very prosperous. Our friendly host Hanifa Abba, too, as it turned out, was from a very noble family. By the way, my father comes from a noble family. So you are descent from a noble bloodline? Yes. And I think, why do your daughters-in-law call you Duchess? The history of the relocation of this family to Kazakhstan, as well as many other Caucasians, is full of tragedy. Being expelled from their homes, the mountaineers often did not have the opportunity even to collect things. This is an old one. My mother was not even born yet. It's so old. The scarf is about 200 years old or maybe more. It's priceless. It will never be on sale. Is it silk too? Yes, it is pure silk. See how old it is. It's already worn out, but we treasure it in the family. Not everyone keeps such relics, and now the details of the national costume are restored bit by bit. After all, in the 21st century, national clothes are worn only on wedding days. Initially, the Balkarian women's costume consisted of a shirt, trousers, a bishmet, and a dress. The shirt was sewn without a seam on the shoulders by using one cloth thrown across the chest on the back. Various methods of decorative seams and trimming techniques were developed, which for a long time were fixed in women's clothing. Women's shirts were made not only from linen but also from silk, purchased fabrics of bright colors. Young girls preferred red, crimson, orange shades. At home, women could wear their shirts loosely without a belt and together with their trousers. Girls could wear it outside the house, but not everyone was allowed to do it. It was considered to be an underwear. Women's trousers differ from men's only in the quality of fabric and the lighter, bright color. The wedding dress, as a rule, was white. Pay attention to the white sleeves with details that completely hide the girl's wrist. The upper dress, chipkan, was almost equipped with such details. In the dance, hands were not visible, also the wrists. The bride was covered with 3 scarves, each was special. The first and the second were traditionally given as a gift from respected relatives. The third concealed the face of the bride, which could only be seen with permission and after presenting the gift. But to make it easier for the girl to breathe, 2 trusted guests standing on either sides raised the fabric, providing air access. how much labor is invested in such a costume, how many details, how many different symbols. It is, of course, not surprising that a girl is ready to keep such a suit, and after that, according to tradition, it was passed down to her daughter. Chests with antique dresses are similar to the now historical museum collections. After all, where else can you meet the things made 2 centuries ago and jewelry made by masters with great skill and subtlety? With the naked eye, you can see that this is all handmade. It is a deep antiquity, yes. A woman's cap, what it's called, okaberk, will make a Balkarian woman out of you. Well, tell me, how does Balkarian hat suits me? In my opinion, this elegant outfit would adorn absolutely any woman. How old is this hat? Well, it's no less than 200 years old, probably. In the treasure chest of Hanifagi Kieva, we found truly amazing things. Here, for example, a blanket decorated with gold embroidery. Imagine, hand-weaving made of the finest metal threads. Speaking of the treasure from the chest, I cannot help mentioning one more thing. I have never seen anything like this in my life. I hope you will be surprised too. It is characteristic that such a blanket had a specially assigned role. As usual, all the most important costumes and ceremonies in most of the nations are involved in a wedding. So after the ritual, when a young wife comes to a new house, in the next few days, the couple visits the house of the bride. There is an exchange of gifts between mother-in-law and son-in-law. The newly made husband presents his new mother with a warm cashmere shawl of the best quality. In response, he receives a blanket made by relatives of his wife. This is the foundation of the relationship of mother-in-law and son-in-law. The son-in-law comes with a gift, and he receives no less luxurious blanket from his mother-in-law in return. Under such a blanket, the life of a family must be happy. Yes, it really came from my grandmother to my mother, and my mother gave it to me. And my daughter, well, she's very contemporary, so it will be safe with me. Well, you know how they say, it will be safer with me. We can study and try on Balkarian scarves forever. For example, what is this finest fabric made of? What do you think? From the nettles? Yes, this is made of the nettles. I would never have guessed in my life. This is called gulminde. Young women wore such a headscarf on their head. Not like the outer clothing, but on their head. Yes, on their head. On top, they put on large scarves. And this is also nettles. Yes, it is. I see that these patterns look like Turkmen. Yes, it is Turkmen pattern. The colors of scarves are strictly delineated by age and purpose. Dark scarves for women of age, completely black for mourning and funeral. I understand correctly, right? The older the Balkarian woman, the stricter her clothes are. Yes. Please note that in the female costume for young Balkarian women, flowers embroidery are acceptable, although the color may be purely black. For an elderly woman, there should be no additional decoration. Yes, only like this. We have already heard about the customs associated with scarves in the Caucasus. The most beautiful tradition says that a scarf thrown off a woman's head can stop even blood feuds. On less important occasions, as you know, it was not possible to take off the headscarf. It was even impossible. The head of a woman is always covered, both in everyday life and in a dance.
yüreğine doğay otlayla altın yüzlü giyikli. Seni başına çıkardılar dökekli mıvacı gitli. Maskıdadan kursavayla gelip seyrine karayla. Aynap çıkkan kara suların avrugalığa jarayla. Orayda, orayda, rayda, orayda, rayda, orayda. Orayda, orayda, rayda, orayda, rayda, orayda. Эльбрус красавец смотрит сквозь тучи белой папахе в синеву. Этой вершиной снежной могучей налюбоваться не могу. Орайда, орайда, райда, орайда, райда, орайда. Орайда, орайда, райда, орайда, райда, орайда. Орайда, орайда, райда, орайда, райда, орайда. Орайда, орайда, райда, орайда, райда, орайда.
Well, now we moved on to the cuisine. Today we will cook the Valkyrion cuisine, and I have to confess that I forgot the name of the dish that we will cook. What do we know about the cuisine of the hill people? Kachin, at least. Remember, we cook them, and even with different feelings. Today we will cook a rich soup called le bégé. A set of products is not complicated: chicken or turkey, a little onions, flour and butter, and also salt and any seasoning. Again, simple and familiar, like pepper and garlic. We finely cut it. I see that you add a lot of garlic. Yes, we add a generous amount of garlic to le bégé. Both chicken soup and turkey require a lot of garlic. What does le bégé look like? Le bégé looks like a thick broth. We add the fried ingredients. A little bit of flour. We will show it to you now. Here is the entire process. The turkey is boiled, taken out, and then we work with the broth. First, in a frying pan, you need to melt a piece of butter in which we will fry onions with flour and spices. I see that everything you have here is homemade. Yes, we need a homemade butter. We will add fried ingredients into broth, which will make it look like a cream soup. Garlic flavor already filled the kitchen, and now the time comes for one very unexpected ingredient. Does this Mele Porridge remind you of your childhood, when you have forgotten about it and it cooled down in a plate? Here is such a Mele Porridge, and today it is one of the main ingredients we have. Such a casserole of millet is cut into pieces and served with a soup instead of bread. If you want, you can replace the millet with the rice. It's only a matter of taste. So we have prepared a le bégé. Yes. Is it served in everyday life or on holidays? It's an everyday dish. Today, if a family wants it, you cook it. And then when the guests come, you can cook it too. In the Caucasus and indeed in Asia, a table cannot do with just one dish. In our today's table, we offer the liver sausage sokta. It is very simply to cook. Through the meat grinder, you process beef liver, onion, and garlic. All this is stuffed in a carefully washed bowls and boiled for 20 minutes. It is served with suzuluk. This sauce is made from home ayran or kefir with garlic, red and black pepper, and salt. Really, it's very tasty and easy. Well, we didn't waste our time in the kitchen. We learned a lot, and now it's the most suitable time to start our feast. Halal bolsun, halal bolsun. On this tasty note, we say goodbye until we meet again on bright holidays and beautiful tables. Yours, Alevtina Madyarova.